Good afternoon, and good afternoon, everyone out there that may be watching this council meeting this afternoon. Welcome to everyone around the table, and councils, please make sure your phones are turned on to silent. Hindmarsh Shire Council acknowledges that this meeting is being held on the lands of the Watchabolik, Jardwa, Jali, Werrigai and Jupabolk nations, and we acknowledge them as traditional owners of country. We recognise the important ongoing role that Indigenous people have in our community and pay our respects to their elders past and present. This meeting is being broadcast on the internet, and the recording of the meeting will be published on Council's YouTube channel and linked to Council's website. As a visitor in the public gallery, you may be filmed. By remaining in the public gallery, you consent to being filmed and that for the recording of you to be made public available by Council. A copy of Council's live streaming and recording of Council meetings policy is available at the back of this room and on Council's website. Please speak with one of our staff members if you have any questions. I'll now hand over to Councillor Clark for the reading of the statement of value. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. Our commitment is to come prepared to every meeting, fostering a respectful and inclusive environment where accountability and approachability are at the core of our actions. We value and encourage innovation, collaboration and open communication, always keeping in mind the well-being and needs of our community. Together we stand united as one, working towards shared goals and with mutual respect and consideration.
Thank you. Okay, item 2, apologies, and we have an apology from Councillor Aitken. No other apologies. Item 3, declarations of interest. Is there anyone around the table that has any general or material conflict of interest? No? Okay, thank you. Item 4, confirmation of minutes and business arising. And there is a recommendation. Councillor Barker.
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. I would like to move that the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on Wednesday, the 29th of October 2025, and the annual statutory meeting held on Wednesday, the 12th of November 2025, at the Nil Council Chamber, 92 Nelson Street, Nil, as circulated to councillors, be taken as read and confirmed.
Thank you. I have a seconder. Councillor Clark, would you like to speak to your motion? No?
No, thank you.
No, right. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against, motion carried. Thank you. Item 4.2, business arising from previous minutes. Are there any questions regarding that? No? Item 5, public question and submission time. And we don't.
There are no public questions or submissions today.
Thank you. Item 6, activity reports. My report, the first one I've got there that I'd like to speak to is the Menzies presentation I went to at Chaparrat. It was quite a impressive presentation, and I was quite impressed with the enthusiasm of everyone that was at that. So, yeah, let's hope we can get somewhere with that further down the track. Nilland District Sporting Club AGM, quite a few of us attended that meeting, and I thought it was very, very well run, and we had the opportunity to have a quick look through the new sporting club grandstand. It was very, very impressive, and that was a good evening, and they're running a good organisation there. So citizenship ceremony, I performed a citizenship ceremony for 3 young people in our community recently, and as always, it's an honour to be able to do that, and I'm sure they really feel wonderful being able to become Australian citizens. I don't think there's anything else I need to speak to as far as that goes. I'll hand over to Councillor Barker.
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. Yes, in October and November, one of the things that was really encouraging for me was the Rural Councils Victoria meeting, where there was discussion about the Emergency Services Volunteers Fund and the campaign that they've got organised to start after the fire season has concluded, wanting to leave the SES and CFA to not feel, discouraged or for it to sort of conflict with anything that may happen emergency-wise. They have a really good campaign planned, and the actions will occur later. So that seems really promising. Also, the Nil Town Committee, got a great leader there, Alison Dullenberg, doing a great job running the Nil Town Committee and all the new committee members that are involved. And we have actually started one of the things off our projects list, which is applying for a Tiny Towns grant for changing up our information centre and creating an all abilities toilet upgrade here at the Goldsworthy Park. So we're looking for all our nil communities to get together and get on board to see if they can participate in kind or any kind of monetary donation to really get us across the line with Tiny Towns, because they are always looking for community participation. Yeah.
That's it. Thank you. Councillor Clark.
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. Just one or two little things. There is, I went to, or wish to add in that on the 17th of November, which is basically the cut-off for this period, I did go to the Pidgik CFA. They had a bit of a training night and actually an informal meeting, and it was quite good to have a bit of a off-the-record chat with some of our residents and ratepayers out in that area. I also, the men's bus tour and lunch at Rainbow. I had the privilege actually of waiting on them and delivering meals, tea, coffee, etc. Actually, it was very good. And then to sit down with some of those participants and actually have a good conversation with them was an excellent experience and an excellent learning curve. So yeah, they were my highlights. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Aiken's not present. Councillor Barry.
Myself, I've just done a couple of the meetings and briefings, but a bit of a thing was coming to see the 3 new citizens we have in our communities, in our shire, whatever that word's called. And it was good to see that Ronnie's up for another, or Mayor Ismay is up for another term. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Oy.
Thank you. So the bulk of October I was away on holidays, so the short period that I was here, the highlight for me was attending the second Pride Committee. So that was quite an enthusiastic session. I think that we're really keen to embrace what will be part of Harmony Day and also the Chill Out Festival to help promote Hindmarsh as a diverse, inclusive shire. And of course, the ambitious one is planning for the 2027 Midsummer Festival, which is a huge rolling festival, but they've expanded to region Victoria. So we'd love to be on that as well.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Righto. Our Chief Executive Officer has a report there and is happy for it to be tabled as read. So we'll move on to item 7, correspondence. And a recommendation.
I can move that council notes the attached correspondence and provide a letter of support to the Menzies Symposium Committee.
Thank you, Councillor, and seconder, Councillor Barry. You would like to speak to them, or is there any questions? No, would you like to speak to the motion? No, Councillor Barry?
I'm good.
No, nothing further? You would like?
I would like to speak to the correspondence.
Yep.
Mayor Ismay. I do note the reply from our treasurer, Victoria Jacqueline Symes, to council in regard to the Emergency Services and Volunteers Fund. So that was quite a comprehensive reply. And I think if people can take some time to read the points and certainly come back to us with what they think would be, what they felt about it as well. I think that would be really interesting. And also I thought it was great to receive correspondence from Dr. Anne Webster, our MP, who was talking about supporting us with applying to a inquiry in regard to our financial sustainability, and especially being a smaller rural council. I think it's really important to be supported by our federal member. So it was really good to receive both of those replies from our government members.
Yep, agreed. And yeah, certainly Well, that's rural councils are, need all the assistance they can get.
100%.
Okay, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against, the motion's carried. Thank you. Item 8, Assembly of Councillor Records. And again, a recommendation. Councillor Clark.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. I move the motion that the council notes the assembly of councillor records as presented.
Thank you. And a seconder? Councillor Barker, thank you. All in favour? Against, motion carried. Thank you. Item 9, planning permits, and there aren't any. Item 10, reports requiring a decision. 2026 council meeting dates. This report seeks council approval regarding the setting of the dates for the meeting of the Hindmarsh Shire in the year 2026. Are there any questions? Pretty straightforward, I would have thought. So there was a recommendation there. Councillor Lloyd, sorry.
Okay, I'd like to move the motion that council holds council meetings at the Hindmarsh Shire Council Chambers, 92 Nelson Street, Neil, and sets the following times and dates for 2026 as tabled.
Thank you. And a seconder, Councillor Clark. I'm not sure that anyone would need to. You don't need to speak to the motion, I wouldn't think. So I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against, the motion carried. Thank you. Righto, item 10.2, volunteer policy and code of conduct. Council volunteers policy was last adopted on the 26th of July 2023 and supports the valuable relationship between council and volunteers, ensuring mutual obligations are clearly defined. This policy has been reviewed with minor changes and the addition of volunteer code of conduct as an appendix to the policy. Are there any questions? If not, I have a recommendation. Councillor Clark.
Thanks, Mayor. I move the motion that council endorses the draft volunteers policy for a period of public consultation from the 27th of November to the 10th of December 2025.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Barry, Councillor Barker, sorry. I don't know that there's any need unless you want to speak to the motion.
Thanks, Mayor.
Yes.
Just a quick one, just saying that, yeah, I've had a bit of a look at this policy, and I think it's just a formalisation of what we already have. There's no changes in it at all. And one of the prime aims of it is simply that for our members being on various volunteer roles within Shire, we'll only have to actually attend to this policy once. I think it's a great thing.
Thank you. Councillor Barker, you'd like this?
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. Yes, I would like to say that we do have a lot of volunteers that we super duper rely on in Hindmarsh Shire. Even outside the committees and organisations, we have the library volunteers and we have the information centre volunteers as well, who, where would we be without them? It'd be more money that we were having to find out of our finances. So I think the volunteers do a really great job. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, nothing further. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against, the motion's carried. Thank you. Item 10.3, Municipal Association of Victoria Conference 2025. The Municipal Association Annual Conference was held on Thursday, the 9th of October 2025, with Councillor Ismay, Councillor Barker and Councillor Aitken attending. Councillor Barker has provided Council with a conference report along with a proposed motion for the 2026 MAV State Council. And having said that, Councillor Barker, have you got questions or you?
I would prefer to talk to it.
Okay, I'll ask for a motion. Thank you. Councillor Barker.
Thank you. I would like to make the motion that council notes the report as presented and 1, acknowledges the unique housing challenges faced by rural communities, particularly in attracting and retaining key workers, supporting ageing populations and ensuring proximity to essential services. And 2, advocates to the state government through a motion to the 2026 MABS State Council for the development of a rural housing innovation framework that, 1, it recognises small-scale, socially impactful housing developments as valid and necessary contributions to statewide housing targets, and also supports councils in accessing funding and partnerships for projects that prioritise livability, ageing in place, and key worker accommodation. And 3, requests that through a motion to the 2026 MAB State Council that the Minister for Housing and Development, Victoria, provide tailored support for rural councils seeking to co-design housing solutions with strong social licence outcomes. And 4, ensures Hindmarsh Shire Council actively participates in future MAB State Council motions to represent rural interests and advocate for equitable policy development.
Thank you, councillor Barker. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Oy, thank you. Would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, I would. Thank you, Mayor Ismay. When we went to the MAB conference, it was a day of sitting through housing innovation workshops, and it was incredibly clear to me how much of the conversation was about what happens in metro areas, which is really quite different to housing ability to find developers, ability to increase housing availability compared metro to rural. And I think it's really important that we stand up as part of the many rural councils and point the differences out. So clearly at a conference like this, where there is a number of councils there and potentially interstate and federal, to hear the differences. Yeah, because we don't have the opportunity to get developers who are looking to develop a housing project here where they would make a profit. And so we'd be looking for state government to guarantor any developments, which is not something they normally do for metro, and why should they? But I definitely think that it would be great for them to be supporting us through financially guaranteeing any developments for aged care facility, retirement villages, or any key worker accommodation, things like that, that aren't in the initial instance necessarily profitable to a developer. And also potentially for council to create their own developments in this manner as well. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Barker. Councillor Oy, would you like?
Following on from what councillor Barker said, I think the extra pressure on top of the housing crisis that we're experiencing in regional Victoria, but I think the pressure that's going to come from renewable energies, when they eventually do come with all the extra workers, there's going to be an extreme shortage of accommodation. So I think some serious challenges are coming up.
Yep.
Absolutely, and not far down the track either. Okay, I don't expect there to be anyone to speak against the motion. I'll put the motion in. All in favour? Against, the motion's carried. Thank you. Item 10.4, Safer Local Roads and Street Program Supplementary Round Application. The Department of Transport and Planning, Transport Accident Commission and the Safer Local Roads and Streets Program have released a supplemental funding round to allow applications for projects up to $500,000. Council officers are seeking approval to submit applications to upgrade the crossing and linking pathways to St Patrick's School on Leigh Street in Nil, and an intersection upgrade of Broughton Conniver Road and Block 40 Road for up to $500,000 per project. Any questions? Councillor Barker.
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. My question is directed to Director of Infrastructure, Mr. Upadhyaya. I was wondering if you could explain the importance of the Broughton Conniver and Block 40 Road intersection and why that has become a priority in our next round of funding applications.
Sure. Thank you. So the intersection is wide section at the moment, which obviously has two different ways to go with no dedicated give way at the intersection. Making it a T intersection reduces the conflict point at the intersections, and hence it makes it safer. We haven't had any incidences or known incidences in the intersection. There might be some near misses which hasn't been reported, but improving this intersection will definitely reduce the possibility of future accidents and make it safer. This will be validated through the road safety assessments and everything. So yeah, it's a competitive process, and it will be assessed by the state government as a part of the process as well through
Through the grant.
Yeah.
Thank you. And also the Lee Street Wombat crossing, that's specifically for the safety of the St. Patrick's children, or?
Yeah, that is correct. The Lee Street is a very wide street, and crossing, and especially at the school time, little kids identifying the gaps between the traffic, it might be dangerous, and they're one of the people who we need to consider, and that's why the raised pedestrian crossing will improve the safety. It will reduce the speed of the people. It will make the crossing more visible. And as part of proposal, we also have construction of about 1,000 metres of footpath to connect that pedestrian crossing from Nelson Street through to Western Highway.
Thank you. And one last question, was that Wombat crossing at Lee Street consulted with St. Patrick's School as well? Yeah.
Yeah, so at the first round of application process, we had a discussion with the school. We also have a letter of support from the school from the first round, and we're in the process of approaching the school again to update that letter of support for this application.
Thank you, Mr. Uda.
We got Councillor Clark.
Yeah, Mayor, sorry if I may also direct this question to our infrastructure services. Obviously, there's two very important points here. We're very aware of our road conditions, basically declining across Victoria. Is there any reason why there's only two applications for two separate points, why we're not going to like 20 points of contention in our shire?
So the maximum amount of funding we can apply is $1.2 million.
Yeah.
So these two projects make $1 million worth. Adding another project will be more than that allocated amount, and that's why we only chose two of the projects which meet the safety demand. So those two projects were already discussed with TAC during the first round, and was identified as a priority.
Beautiful, thank you.
Yeah, I also say two intersections are certainly an awful lot safer. We've got a few Y intersections that are very, very hazardous, and there's a few, 4 Mile Beach is one of them that I've always complained about. I guess it's a big road, I think, isn't it? So nothing gets done with it. So anyway, okay, we have a recommendation. Sorry, Councillor Clark.
Yeah, look, I'm more than happy to move the motion that council approves submitting a SLRSP supplementary round applications. One for upgrades to the crossing and link pathways to St. Patrick's Schools on Lee Street, Church Street, James Street and Woodward Street in Mill for up to $500,000. And 2, the intersection upgrade of the Broughton Conniva Road and Block 40 Road for up to $500,000.
Thank you. And the seconder, Councillor Barry. Like to speak to the motion?
Just me, look, I really hope that, we achieve these applications. I really do. I think we need to improve a lot of places, and if this is 2 more we can do, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Councillor Barry.
No, just second.
Okay. No one wanting to speak against the motion. Put the motion, all in favour? Against, motion carried. Thank you. Item 10.5, funding application for Nil Bowling Club upgrades under the Local Sports and Infrastructure Fund. This report seeks council approval to submit an application under the Local Sports Infrastructure Fund for upgrades to nil bowling club facilities, with a total project cost estimated at $773,221. The application proposes a $500,000 contribution from LSIF, with nil bowling club pledging to provide $273,221 as a contribution towards this project. Council will provide an in-kind support through project management and administration of the grant. The proposed upgrades include upgrading 2 bowling greens, construction of a new all abilities ramp for access to bowling greens, upgrades to the irrigation system, including service locator, and upgrade of bathroom to make it all abilities. Are there any questions? Councillor Barker.
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. This question is to our Director of Infrastructure Services, Mr. Upadhyaya. And was the council approached by the Nil Bowling Club for this upgrade?
Yes.
And was this everything that's on here, the upgrade to the 2 bowling greens, the construction of new all abilities ramp and access for bowling greens and the all abilities toilet and the irrigation system, was that their complete application?
Yes.
And was there anything that was taken out of the application due to being deemed too expensive or too excess?
No, so we we are developing the application based on what the club has requested for. Club has been putting the money away for their contribution for a very long time, for I think 10 or 15 years, and accumulated $273,000, which is a massive amount. They've also contributed I think $15,000 or $20,000 towards the design of those projects to be shovel ready as well. So basically, we've included everything they have requested for, and we haven't excluded anything.
Thank you.
Any further questions? If not, there is a recommendation. Sorry, Councillor Barker.
Thank you. I'd like to move that council, 1, endorses the submission of a funding application under Local Sports and Infrastructure Fund for upgrade of the Nil Bowling Club facilities, and 2, notes Nil Bowling Club's contribution of $273,221 towards the project.
Thank you. And a seconder, Councillor Barry. Are there any speakers against the motion? No. Would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, I would. Thank you. I think this appears to be a great collaboration between council and a significant community group in our town. Nil Bowling Club facilitates a large number of people who live in our town who may be retired, and it keeps them active. And it really is a great thing to maintain, especially in regard to getting out and about and the mental health being involved in the community, and the considerable amount of planning that must have gone into creating this application, and the considerable amount of participation by the Nil Bowling Club dollar-wise is certainly something to remark on. Well done to the Nil Bowling Club, and well done to the council for bringing this together. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Barry.
Yeah, just to what Councillor Barker said, 10 years in the making. I hope they get it.
Yeah.
Really, like they've put that money aside. That's a lot of money aside every year.
That's a lot of work.
And a lot of work. So
Yeah.
for all them volunteers of that club, good on them.
It's very refreshing to have an organisation coming to us for assistance, but putting this volume of money towards, a project that's, and like I said, 10, 15 years in the making, and it's really great. And I agree with everyone, that we should see more of that. So anyway, put the motion. All in favour? Against? The motion's carried. Thank you. Item 11, council committees. 11.1, advisory committees. Then we have the Milltown Committee, Rainbow Town Committee and Hindmarsh Pride Committee. And they've all had meetings on the below dates, so unless there's any questions, there is a recommendation. Councillor Barker.
Thank you. I would like to move that council notes the minutes of the following advisory committees. One, the Rainbow Town Committee that met on the 20th of October 2025, the Nil Town Committee that met at the meeting held on the 21st of October 2025, and the Hindmarsh Pride Committee meeting held on the 5th of November 2025.
Thank you. Second it. Councillor Hoyt. Like to speak to the motion?
Yes, I would. Thank you, Mayor Ismay.
Thank you.
I read all of these minutes and it just blows my mind how amazing we have all these town committees and people in our towns that do all this work. You know, they sit there being innovative. The Hindmarsh Pride Committee, you know, small committee, but they've got all these plans for these great events. You know, Rainbow Town Committee, they're like really proactive and doing things for their town. You know, one of the smaller towns in our Hindmarsh Shire, they're really proactive about that. And of course, our Nil Town Committee completely moving forward in leaps and bounds and working towards collaborating together to get projects off the ground for our town here in Nil. Well overdue. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Hoyt, you would like to speak to the mayor?
I think it highlights the enthusiasm that the community has to make a difference to their way of life in Hindmarsh, and it takes community effort. So well done.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Nothing further. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against, motion carried. Thank you. Item 11.2. Oh, 11.3, sorry, item 12, because at 11.2 there's nothing, so, sorry. Item 12, late reports, and there aren't any. Item 14, other business, councillor Clark.
No, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, councillor Hoyt,
No one.
councillor Barker,
No other business apart from, don't forget the Carol Nights on the 13th of December at JPEX Park in Nil.
okay, councillor Barry,
No other business.
okay. Item 15, confidential reports. And we have a recommendation. Councillor Clark.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, I moved a motion that the meeting now be closed in accordance with section 66(2)(a) of the Local Government Act 2020 to consider reports that contain confidential information as defined by section 3 of the Local Government Act 2020 and or part 4 of the Freedom of Information Act 1982. And following considerations of items 15.1, close the council meeting with 15.1 being the award of a contract for 2023-2024.9 provision of plant, labour and equipment hire rates for inclusion of a plant hire panel. This report contains confidential business information, being information that would prejudice the council's position in commercial negotiations if prematurely released.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Barry. All in favour? Against, motion is carried. Thank you.
Man, I was gonna.
Did you want to speak to the? I'm happy to.
Yes, just one moment. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Is there any chance that there's a lot of big words in that there's that can we simplify those words? Because
We'll see what we can do with that.
Roger.
Okay, put the no, wrong. Roger's not here. Anyway, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against, motion carried. Thank you. That concludes our meeting today. Anyone that may be watching out there in video land, yeah, thank you for your attendance at our meeting.